go 80 and 82, and it's a major disappointment. That, to me, is a sign of how far the franchise has come over the years.
It hasn't been an easy year. We seemed really stuck on 500 or in the vicinity of it.
80 and 82, and they missed the playoffs first time since 2018.
Tampa Bay Rays announcing they will play next season at
Steinbrenner Field.
Steinbrenner Field.
Can there be bounce backs?
Those guys have bounced back here.
If our goal is to be a championship caliber organization, we got to find a way to get more output out of that position.
Ha-Seong Kim.
Ha-Seong Kim has signed a 2-year, $29 million contract.
Pretty exciting. He's a complete baseball player.
According to reports, Tampa Bay Rays will sign catcher Danny Jansen.
Danny Jansen, who's going to be their everyday catcher.
Everything that you heard about Danny Jansen was about winning.
And he got it! An immaculate inning right there. 9 pitches, 3 strikeouts. 2-2 struck him out. Taj Bradley with 8 Ks tonight.
Never, ever underestimate the Rays. The Rays play the game better than really anybody else.
Now watch it go! Home run! A walk-off for Brandon Lau.
Pitching is too good. Their closer is too good at the end of the game. They will be a playoff team again this year.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Sunburst Invitational. Yes, surprise. I'm here now. Surprise, surprise. We're here for our Qualifier 2 final. Scuffy, how are we feeling today, buddy?
I'm feeling great, man. I mean, it's going to be another heavyweight matchup that we got going tonight. We got Zazzi versus Wilsy. We got the year 1 champ from 2 years ago, and then we got Wilsy. I mean, he's on a circuit streak right now with 3 already in a row, and now this is his first appearance of the Sunburst Invitational for this year, and he's in the Qualifier Championship, so we'll see how he could fare here. It's going to be a fun matchup. Scan, I'm ready. Appreciate you being in the booth once again. It's going to be a fun night.
Absolutely. I mean, if I get to sit down and watch a Wilsy versus Zazzi game, you know, that's always a pleasure, so I'm so excited to watch these games. And it's so fun to be back in the booth with you, of course, Scuffy. Always one of my favorite people to be in the booth with. So we're going to have a fun time. We got some great games in store.
Yeah, we have some great games in store, and there's going to be a little difference from Qualifier 1 Championship to Qualifier 2 Championship. And with that difference, it's going to be the roster. There has been some removals and some additions to roster. We have no more Josh Lowe since he's on the IL. We got Johnny DeLuca not part of the lineup, and Richie Palacios all being on the IL. But we got some newcomers coming to the Sunburst Invitational. We got Jake Magnum. We got Chandler Simpson. I mean, he's just been unreal for these players so far over this weekend. And not only that, there's a big change for one of the pitchers. Drew Rasmussen goes from reliever to starter. And with this being best of 3 series for the championship, Qualifier Championship, they had to use a different starter each game. So we'll definitely see Rasmussen on the mound here tonight and see how how effective he will be in the championship series.
Yeah, and I love those player additions, too. I mean, if you know Chandler Simpson, you know that man is pure electricity. Bat on ball, running like an absolute madman. It is going to be so fun to watch to see like how these guys like implement that into their strategy, because even though we are playing with these really good players, you know, it's a different style of game we have here with the current Rays players being used and all of the elements of speed and contact coming into play with more balanced lineups. It's going to be so exciting to watch those guys see how they impact the team today.
Oh, exactly. And if you're new to the Sunburst Invitational, we'll just do a little quick rundown. It is a Rays tourney. Shout out to Rays, as you can tell. So it's Rays Live roster versus Rays Live roster. We go through Qualifier weekend. The first day is single elimination. It is 4 rounds. It's on Hall of Fame. The second day is top 16. And they go into a double elimination bracket to get the final 2, which we have here tonight between Wilsy and Zazzi. And of course, if you want to join, there's 2 more qualifiers going on, one in May during Mother's Day's weekend. Just a little note that they will both be on at night at 7 p.m. Eastern, not your typical 2 p.m. Eastern on that Sunday. And there will also be one in June. So if you want to sign up, do Exit Page Point play in the chat, and we'll give you a link to sign up. But it's going to be, this is why I love the Sunburst Invitational, and I'm curious on hear Wilsy's thoughts. We'll get to him momentarily in the player interview. From going to Diamond Dynasty and seeing the display he put pretty much in 2024, how does that different for him here in this Sunburst Invitational?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I mean, like we said, this type of roster is a complete different feel. Like, it's a completely different style of game than what you get from Diamond Dynasty. And like, we've been watching Wilsy for a while, both you and I. We know he's an incredible hitter when he's really at his best. And while you definitely can hit at a similar level with these teams, it's still just a completely different feeling because you have a whole different balance of cards and different swings that you got to get used to. So we're definitely going to be asking him about how that transition has gone and if it's felt any sort of different being this like not offline, but the live roster player for this. It's going to be interesting because we got Zazzi on the other hand, who has been at this for a long time, like a previous winner, someone who has killed it. He had a crazy 8th inning the other night as well to get himself here. So it's going to be electric to see, you know, we know them as two great players on their own, but we kind of have different storylines. Zazzi, the experienced guy here. Yep. Wilsy has been kind of the newcomer here.
Yeah, exactly. So, it's always a different world when you're using regular teams besides your Diamond Dynasty teams. Remember, these attributes only go up to 99. They don't go your typical 125, so you'll have that going. But can we take a look at the bracket real quick just to see how these two players got here? First, we'll go with Zazzi. Zazzi's coming from the winner's bracket, and as you see here, he pretty much had great competitors, including that game that you were talking about in the winners final between Zazzi and Bad Pack Luck, where Zazzi just had to overcome a big inning and then put on the display in the bottom of the 8th to secure the win and reach the finals here today. But he had to face Ryan. He had to face Kreiner once again in the Sunburst. I mean, they always find themselves in the Sunburst Invitational between Zazzi and Kreiner. And then Kingpin was his first round. Now for Wilsy, he won his first game in the winner's bracket, but then lost to just Bad Pack Luck. And that was kind of the story. How will Wilsy go through the loser bracket? And he did just fine. Once again, he had to face the veteran OG esport player with Pitching Rebel in his first loser bracket, able to win against Kingpin, and then against Ryan, and then against Dane. We all know Diurnal is one of the best players, arguably, in this community. And then he get his revenge from the winner's bracket and wins against Bad Pack Luck to secure a spot here tonight.
Yeah, that's you look at that final few rounds of players he had to go through. That's just an elite group of players. I see Dane down there, Pack Luck, Tier Ryan, Rebel, like you said, Kreiner, like elite players who have been at this esports game for a while. So to go into that losers bracket and just go through like that is truly impressive. And I'll tell you what, I mean, talk about the final boss. Zazzi feels like the final boss for Wilsy here, because this is it's going to be such a great game, man. Like, I can't emphasize that enough. This is going to be so fun.
Yeah, it's going to be a great best of 3 here. And I think we have one of the competitors waiting for an interview. Let's actually bring in Zazzi, the 2023 champ. Oh, maybe we don't just yet. 1 second, but we'll get Zazzi in here, see what his thoughts. And remember, he is the best. He's the home seed. Pretty much, he'll be home game 1 and game 3, since he's the top seed here and coming from the winners bracket. So we'll see here. And here I'm very curious on who they're going to be pitching with. We've been seeing a lot of Pepio. Pepio has been the mainstay of the rotation. We saw that in Qualifier 1. Now we're going to see it in Qualifier 2. But I'm curious on the 2-3 spot. Zach Littell is who we saw last time around. And then we actually saw some bullpen games. And speaking of the bullpen was a little bit shifted as well. Getting Rasmussen now to the starter may be advantage on the rotation side, but not really the big advantage that it was when he was coming out of the bullpen. Because right now, if we're talking about out pitches with Meta and in MLB The Show with the sinker cutter, then we have one pitcher with Manuel Rodriguez having his sinker. Everyone else is just basic 4-seam, 2-seam change-up slider. So that will come into play as well, not having Rasmussen part of that bullpen.
Yeah, like Rasmussen's always been one of those guys, especially over the last few years, because of that sinker cutter mix. So they have to add the pen. Yeah, that's not the same nowadays. So I'm interested to see how these guys, like, especially how good of hitters both of them are. like, how do you manage the bullpen now?
Yeah. So, and there's only 2 lefties to show for with Mason Montgomery and Clevenger. So they've been having to deal with that for the past 2, and it's definitely a strategy that we'll have to look out for tonight. But let's actually get Zazzi in here, and we'll talk to Zazzi regarding his back in the Qualifier Championship, looking to secure another trip down into Tampa. Zazzi, how are we feeling tonight?
How's it going, boys? Good to see you guys again.
Good to see you.
Good to see you, dude. Super excited to watch you play. Just, I guess, first feeling right now, what is the vibe for tonight? Like, what did you do to lock in? Or even more than that, just like, how you feeling right now? You just feeling chill, excited, amped up? I assume there's a bunch of emotions that can be going through your head right now.
You know what? It's been a long day of waiting. I'm going to be honest with you. I've been home all day, so the time between now and 7 p.m. has felt like an eternity. But yeah, I'm super excited. You know, I went through my normal daily routine, have my peanut butter, my fruit, so I'm in a good spot here right now.
Awesome. So let me ask you, we're talking about the changes between Qualifier 1 and Qualifier 2. Any particular players that come up now within Qualifier 2 that made an impact for you on this run?
You know what? It's been that whole 7 to 9 in the lineup. You know, you'll see it a lot. A lot of those guys have 30 or under powers. So Cameron Meisner has been a sneaky surprise for me. You'll see him in the lineup for sure. But other than that, I mean, Simpson's been cool, but kind of reminds me of Siri without the power. But yeah, other than that, I think really Meisner's been the guy that's really stood out. That's been different for me this qualifier.
Definitely gonna have to take note of that. I know Meisner's been having a pretty solid year for him too, so interesting to see how that plays out. How we were talking about the bullpen and the shift up with Rasmussen and stuff heading at this. Is there any surface level strategy that you're anticipating with that, playing a good hitter like Wilsy?
Get through 4 innings with your starter is about all I got. You know, other than that bullpen, if you're operating out of those top 2 or 3 guys, it's a tough time. Runs are on the board. So I'm hoping to get 4 out of every starter I start tonight. Whether I can or not will be to be determined, but that's my plan.
All right. Zazzi, it's always great to have you back here in the Qualifier Championship, trying to get back, you know, to Tampa and regain the championship belt that you won 2 years ago. So that's going to be a lot of fun to see how you could compete here against Wilsy tonight. And we wish you nothing but the best luck here.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
No problem.
Good luck. Man, I always love talking to someone like Zazzi. He's been at this for so long. So just seeing how like he's just been itching to play this today. He's just been waiting for this game to come up.
I mean, a lot of time to think about. We should have asked if he had any like scrimmages as well, maybe warmed up or something like that. But either way, it's going to be fun to see him back here in the spot, being the experienced player he is, and see how he could take the previous experience that he had with the Sunburst Invitational into tonight's games.
Absolutely. And we actually have Wilsy on standby as well, ready to go. We're going to talk to him very quickly before we get into their game. And here he is, Wilsy. How are we feeling today, good sir?
I think I'm feeling good. I've been ready to play here for a little bit now, so I think I'm ready.
Now let me ask you, Wills. You come from. I mean, we haven't really seen much of you in the Sunburst Invitational. This is your first qualifier of the year, but last year you went on a tour with the circuits. You won 3 back to back. What's the difference that you take from the Diamond Dynasty tournaments into the Sunburst Invitational where you're just using live rosters?
I mean, it's not even really. I feel like just the major difference is the pitchers, because the starters there's I'm not gonna lie, there's not really too many great starters, so I really just need to get through, like Zazzi said in his interview, just get through like at least 4 innings probably, then I'll set myself up to the best to win, because I think I'm gonna hit. So
absolutely, we just said we forgot to ask Zazzi about this, but I want to get your thoughts. You said you were finally itching for this game to come up. Did you do any sort of prep, like any scrimmages or anything like that heading into this, or have you just been relaxed, just not overthinking things too much?
I mean, yeah, I played like 1 friendly and like went into the custom practice, but yeah, I just these last like 30 minutes or so, I just been itching to play.
Oh, there you go. Let's waste no time. Let you get back, get ready for game 1, and we wish you nothing but the best luck in the series.
Thank you.
No problem.
Absolutely. Very exciting game in store. I mean, that man, first of all, first time seeing him on camera, Love that. Very excited to see how this series is gonna go. I mean, like he said it. He feels like he's gonna hit, and from us who have watched Wilsy play, I mean, that's like the name of his game. Just like out hit every single person he plays. So I'm curious to see how that translates into this tournament here tonight against another great player in Zazzi. Got a very fun set of games in store here soon.
And both of these players can hit. I mean, both of them put up, like, that's going to be probably the key. How can you limit the runs per inning? Like, you don't want to give up. If you give up 1 or 2, okay, that's actually a win in my book, especially with the hitters that they are. But they put like the 5, 6 to 7 spot. That's hard to come back with that. And especially with how these live rosters are. So it's going to be interesting to see who could be that first player to limit the damage and win those innings.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like we've talked about this in other tournaments with Wilsy. Like sometimes he almost gets an advantage being that away team because he comes up, ambushes you with a bunch of runs in that first and second inning, and barely gives you any chance to come back. That's what he does when he's at his best. But obviously someone like Zazzi's been at it a lot this year. He's been at it in tournaments before, so he's someone who's used to it. I'm curious to see if that type of thing happens again here. If, like, I mean, they're both great hitters, but if someone can get that early momentum, like you said, it sometimes is the big difference in a game like this. So I'm curious to see, like you said, not only whoever limits innings first, but whoever gets off to that hot start, because it might just set the precedent for this whole series.
Yep. And then we'll find out momentarily. We'll get to game 1 shortly here. Appreciate everyone tuning in. Remember, if you want to join the Sunburst Invitational ! Play in chat, there's 2 more qualifiers, one in May and one in June. So if you have a chance of winning up to $12,000, which anyone that clinches a spot to go to Tampa wins a share of the money. Not only that, Sken, did you know this? If you win the Sunburst Invitational, you get to throw out the first pitch at Tampa Bay Rays games. How cool is that?
Yeah, I heard. I mean, before I was in here in the booth tonight, a few weeks ago, I totally contemplated signing up for that reason alone. I was like, man, that sounds so cool to go out there and throw that first pitch in front of the crowd. That would be so cool. So what an opportunity for anyone who comes out on top here.
Oh, yeah, for sure. So, I mean, the more pressure might be on that first throw. We were mentioning that before between myself and Tyler. Like, once you get that, it's going to be more pressure on that. But we'll see who's going to be the next one to clinch here shortly. We should be getting to a quick video and then getting to game 1 once ready, and we'll go from there.
Absolutely.
It's a massive undertaking.
Transforming the stadium from the Yankees
in just 72 hours.
The race against the clock to get George Steinbrenner Field ready to go.
The transformation you are witnessing right here behind me is an incredible logistical feat.
That the transformation process that's taking place right now has been amazing on the part of the Rays.
Logos and branding everywhere, advertising, big screen TVs, and more.
And all told, over 3,000 separate pieces of art will be installed by Friday.
And that turn right there in Del Mabry to see Shane and Taj, those pictures, is pretty spectacular.
Welcome to George M. Steinbrenner Field, home of the 2025 Tampa Bay Rays.
everyone? Welcome back. We are getting going into game number 1 of the night. Zazzi versus Wilsy. Getting going here. And yeah, as you see, they're choosing their starters. I'm curious to see who they're both starting here.
It looked like Pepio for... I don't know who's away and home here. So I don't know which lineup is... Well,
yeah.
Actually, Zazzi would be home. So I assume that's Zazzi's lineup to the right. They're just changing up the lineups.
He also said he would be playing Misner, right? So I assume whichever, if he ends up having him, the other one doesn't.
He has Taj Bradley as well. Which he has used. I like Taj. They added Cutter this year. Not many players have been using him, so you're able to tunnel his pitches pretty well with that splitter and cutter and slider of his. And then he has that high velocity fastball as well. So especially to left-hand hitters, I feel like you could do that.
Yeah, that change of speed with the cutter sometimes is all you need to get a solid player to roll over a ball. They get so sat on the fastball, a little too dialed up for it, and then they just roll over the cutter. So definitely could see that being a big difference maker there.
And then we got Pepio on the mound for Wilsy, which has been the mainstay for pretty much everyone on this qualifier number 2. But here we go.
So here we go. Game number 1 here at Ship It. First pitch from Bradley is going to be fouled off.
There's that splitter right away. I mean, you're going to see a dose of that splitter and that cutter away.
Absolutely. Turns on an inside fastball. That's going to be driven down the line. And a leadoff hit for Wilsy to get us going here in the top of the first. Got the hands inside, pulled that down the line, just past the third baseman.
Good start there from Wilsy.
We talked about it. That almost away team advantage he gets sometimes. Can he put up that big inning to start off this game to kind of put some momentum on his side to get going here?
Yeah, and he does it right there. Yandy Diaz with the 80 contact against righties shows that right from the start.
Yeah, and just to make things clear, Wilsy is hitting at the plate right now, and he's going to drive this high and deep to center field. Does it have the legs? It'll be caught on the track for our first out of the game. Man, I thought Brandon Lau got all of that one, but he just missed it.
Yeah, just missed it there by slightly. If he had the PCI, maybe a centimeter to the left and up, that would have been hit the batter's high for sure.
That's a ball.
Yeah, and Wilsy is at the plate right now wearing your gray pants. Zazzi at home on the mound in the white pants. He's got home field advantage being the high seed in this series. At least I assume that is the advantage he gets.
Yep.
And Christopher Morel here in the 3 spot working a 2-2 count. And there's that away cutter. Gets an early swing and miss. And Christopher Morel is going to go down swinging to make it 2 outs here in the first. That one he sits back on enough. But that's lined out right to short, so a scoreless first. And here comes Zazzi at the plate.
Went back-to-back cutters there, and he got the strikeout with Morel and then threw it once again and able to get the line out to short to get out of the inning and harmless. Now, if you hear us on who is up, you'll see the blue outline border. So if you're coming back over their webcam, so you always know who's currently up at the plate.
Absolutely. And Yandy Diaz again in the leadoff spot here, while combining words. That's going to be grounded to second base. That's routine. We got a quick first out, and I mean, you're seeing it already. A lot of pitches away. These hitters are great at turning on the inside velo. But a lot of slow stuff away. That's a fastball away, but hit a little too high. I think that's going to be caught at the track for 2 outs very quickly here. And I think what's going to really be indicative of who's on the ball first is who's going to be able to sit back on those away pitches and hit them the opposite field.
And that felt like the seam out that Brandon Lau did there. But
and there it is! High and deep to right field, and Junior Caminero hits it out of here 412 feet to right field. And Zazzi's got the lead here in the bottom of the first.
I mean, Caminero had a good piece of that, and that went 104 off the bat, right where you want to, and right where you want to start here against Wilsy. Put against this pressure.
Yeah, and positive of pitching away to these guys, you can get those earlier swings and those away cutters. But when you go there a little too often, both these hitters are good enough to make the adjustments and sit back and hit it the opposite way, and that's what he does there with Caminero. Great swing to right field to get the offense going here for Zazzi.
Now, this is one player Zazzi has been doing great with Danny Jansen. He might just miss one right there. 3.8 feet. Just missing there, but he has been.
Yeah, it was just a couple feet off. Perfect foul ball.
That was a perfect foul ball. Oh boy.
Perfect. 104 off the bat. Just a few feet foul. Oh, that one hurts, but still plenty of it bat here. It's Danny Jansen, Zazzi's guy. Gotta see if he can find another good swing, but that's gonna be grounded. The first play is made, tossed to the pitcher. Man, that could have been a 2-0 lead for Zazzi, but the baseball gods decided to let that ball go foul. But he still got a 1-0 lead here to start after one.
Yeah, got the 1-0 lead. Just got to keep on winning those innings.
Yeah. Games like this against great hitters, it's almost like a game of attrition. You got to try to just put up the most good swings. Speaking of good swings, that's hit to the left center field gap. That is not going to be caught. Aranda's going to cruise into second base, and that's a leadoff double for Wilsy to start off this inning.
Good response there after giving up the lead in the bottom of the half, and now you got man in scoring position with no outs, and here's Junior Caminero, who we just saw Zazzi go yard with.
Yeah. There's that away cutter. Still not finding the timing on the away cutter yet. That's going to be a late swing. Good job taking a great cutter away just outside the zone to make this a 1-2 count. I mean, he's got to play smart baseball here. Try to get this runner at least over to third with nobody out. And that should get the job done. It's laced to right field. It's going to land right in front of the right fielder. And we have runners on the corners. Nobody out. Oh, first pitch swing, and that's dribbled down the line. And Wilsy responds right away. 3 straight hits to start off this top of the second. And we're tied again, 1-1 here. Man, sometimes the ball just finds all the holes, and it is finding all of them right now.
Yeah, just found for the back-to-back hits, just found grass. I mean, the reaction from Caminero was a little late there.
That's a ball.
Yeah, I mean, we got runners on first and second here still. Yeah. I mean, we talked about it with Zazzi. His key was the bottom 3 in his order kind of showing up in his games. Gonna be key here for Wilsy here. Opportunity to take a lead. And you got Mangum. I mean, you got 39 hole clutch. It might be tough to work with, but he's fighting at the plate here versus Bradley here.
And we'll see. I mean, Magnum has a speed, so if you try to push it to like the right, you'll get the mover over. He should be first and third. You won't get quite hard to turn a double play on here, especially, and then you have Simpson after that.
Yeah, exactly. Bottom of the order with speed. That's laced past where the shortstop would be. That's going to score 1, but runners will still be on the corner. Mangum comes up with a big hit here. Great hit and run with nobody out. The risk pays off. Shortstop goes to cover the bag, and that goes literally right where he would be.
That's inside.
And still nobody out here. Chandler, Simpson. We talked about the speed being a factor at the bottom of the order. There's a ground ball, and that's all through the infield. And now you got 2 great runners on the bases here, still with nobody out, and Wilsy is just rallying here.
He's just finding the holes right now. That's pretty much, I mean, all the hits just were in the right location.
Yeah, sometimes it's just about finding a spot. You might not need to hit the ball the hardest. I mean, you've got some of those contact-focused hitters at that bottom part of the order. And now this is where it gets interesting. You got some speed on. A ball to the gap by Diaz very likely scores too with 99 speed. And that's driven to right field. And it's not caught off the glove. And there goes that speed like I talked about. Runners will stay at first and second though. Simpson will stay at second because he had to navigate the runners. So he actually does only move up 1 base there, but another run for Wilsy makes it 4-1 here in the top of the second in game 1.
And now I'm debating, is Zazzi going to go with a reliever here, or maybe just take some time, just regroup, try to get out of this jam? Yeah. This is where you just, take a breather.
Yeah, almost like cool off, maybe mound visit, get some of that confidence back up for Bradley here. Like you said, he wants to try to get 4, and I know you probably expect Wilsy to score some, so you probably don't want to pull that trigger too soon, just so you don't burn all your bullpen. But I'll tell you what, this has got to be making them at least a little bit uncomfortable with this inning. Nobody out still. Harder to order coming up with Brandon Lau, Christopher Morel, and Danny Jansen. So, I mean, this is setting up big for Wilsy at the plate here.
Yeah, this is a big bat, especially Brandon Lau just missed one last at bat. Got the first pitch fastball.
No, that's it.
Yeah, not trying to do too much there to swing first pitch. Actually was a probably solid pitch from the hit, but he takes it. There's a solid pitch to hit, though. High and deep to center field. And Wilsy just keeps the foot on the gas. 7-1 here in the top of the second. Perfect. Off the bat of Brandon Lau. An absolute moonshot. But I'll tell you what, I mean, we talk about this with Wilsy. When he's at his best, he gets going early offensively and almost doesn't give that home team a chance to come back. And right now, he's got the offense going here in the second.
And there's
Zazzi's
still no
gonna have
outs.
to be on his game pretty early on, I feel like.
There's still no outs here, too. I mean, this is... You're looking for something here for Zazzi, but that last one, that was just went right down Broadway. And can't throw that to Wilsy sometimes, and he took care of that, being 451 feet away with that Brandon Lau home run.
No balls.
Absolutely. It's sometimes to someone like Wilsy, when you play someone who's as good of a hitter as he is that's going to be grounded to shortstop. This play should be made here for a first out of the inning finally. And up comes Janny Jansen. And sometimes you don't know what to pitch to him because he's doing a good job of fighting off great pitches. There's a sweeper that is hung over the heart of the plate, and that is going to go. Another home run for Wilsy in the inning. Makes it 8-1.
That was a good swing. I mean, especially the sweeper
Look at
way.
that PCI.
Freaking PCI. He was still able to square that up. And Danny Jansen hits it over the left center field fence.
Yeah, and the players who play on Legend and GOAT talk about it a lot. That's another perfect off the pitcher's back.
Should be.
It's going to ricochet back to Jansen. He's going to make the play for the second out. I mean, you know, the baseball gods giveth, and sometimes they taketh away. And I think they definitely take it away right there. That was a great swing. Just some crazy baseball we got going on here in the second.
You're seeing everything, pretty much, right now. Here in the top of second.
Yeah, we're getting chaos ball already in a second. If that means anything for the rest of this game, this ground ball is going to end the inning. Zazzi's going to have a tough time doing it, being down 8-1, but if anyone can come back and get himself right back into the game, it's him. I'm curious to see if he finds it here in the bottom of the second, because tell you what, Wilsey's looking fantastic at the plate here so far.
Yeah, you're looking, I mean, it just gets something going. It doesn't have to be all of them one back, but get some momentum back in your favor on the hitting side, and then take that momentum back when you go back on the mound.
Yeah, I mean, you can just tell that Wilsey's on his game. That one hanging, I believe it was a sweeper. The PCI shrink, you talk about it a lot on Legend and GOAT difficulty. Those PCIs get smaller on away breaking balls. There's going to be a fly ball that should be caught by the catcher for a first out. Now you want to see if you're Zazzi. And Wilsy took that PCI, even when it was shrunk, and still put up a perfect swing, which is really impressive, especially for the very beginning of our game here. So he's looking great, but there's a great swing to deep right field. And here comes Zazzi, making it 8-2 with a Christopher Morel homer.
Fantastic swing, like you mentioned. Slider away, able to get a good enough contact there, and Morel gets one back. But this is what he needs. He doesn't need all of them. Just get some momentum back in your favor.
Yeah, put up some good swings, put up a rally, chip away at that pitch count out of Pepio. He only had about like 12 pitches after that first inning in that general ballpark. So you definitely want to keep chipping away, put that pressure on Wilsy to maybe make a move here in a few innings. Because if you go down quickly like he did in that first, then he's going to keep on riding with Pepio as long as he can. But yeah, here comes a Zazzi's guy. We talked about it with him a little bit earlier. Cameron Misner. He was a surprise to him, but that's a pitch he's just going to miss. There'll be a fly out to left field to make it 2 outs. And here comes that bottom part of the order again. Caballero here in the 8th spot.
Yeah, Cabby's been a mainstay in the bottom of the lineup, but a mainstay for a good reason. He's always able to turn over the lineup, and this is what he wants to do here. Try to get to Simpson in the 9th spot and maybe get some type of rally with top of the order, especially with Yandy Diaz with his clutch.
Absolutely. Get on base with Cabby here. Maybe get some chaos ball with Chandler Simpson up next. Get a couple runners on for Yandy, and he could get right back in his game with one good swing.
That's a ball.
But a 1-2 count here to Caballero. Pepio only at 24 pitches here in the second. The pitch is going to take an away cutter. Great take to work a count here. Another away cutter, but that's going to be fouled straight up. Probably be a homer if we were in an elevator shaft. And that'll be caught. And 1 run in the inning for Zazzi there makes it 8-2. Maybe not the inning he was looking for, but still some promising swings out of him. He just needs to find a way to shut out Wilsy here in the third.
This is where you kind of need to limit the damage. You need, I mean, may give up 1, but you kind of want to look for that big 0 if you can.
Absolutely. Yeah, you just want to try to find a way to minimize. Maybe you, with going to the bullpen so early, you really need to maximize your time with relievers too. Give them full innings. That is rope to Caminero at third. He gets up. The throw, not in time. Great play to get a glove on it over there, but still no play to be made with Caballero up at the plate. So here we go, 92 speed. Or 71 speed, my bad, on first here with the bottom of the order coming up here again for Wilsy. And this is the part of the order that started that second inning rally.
This is where we got the hitter
here in the third.
We got the hitter run last time up. I'm curious if he's going to try again, but that's going to be rolled over. And that's going to be 1. There's 2, and there's 2 quick outs. 3-6-3 double play there for Zazzi. And you needed that. You needed that right from the start. Had to give it the perfect hit to Cabby and able to get that rollover from Magnum to get the 2.
Absolutely. I mean, you need quick outs. No better way to get that done than a double play. As you see, we see some defensive shifting going on, I believe, from Zazzi out in the field because Chandler Simpson here, you might not see that much on the contact and power, but he's going to lace that up the middle. It's going to land, and here we go. 99 speed, 99 steal on the base paths. I really want to see if we get some chaos ball here, Scuffy. I really want to see it selfishly. There's all the chaos ball.
Well, this is a perfect bat to do it. Where if you want to do a hit and run situation, if you want to try to send him, there you go, first pitch, and he's going to be in there safely, easily stolen base there from Simpson.
Yeah, and I like that move a lot, especially first pitch. You've been seeing Zazzi kind of falling into the tendencies that's driven high to right field. It's going to land foul. He's been kind of going to those away cutters or his away breaking stuff. So first pitch stealing, if one of those ends up in the plate, that leaves that second base spot entirely open because of the hit and run.
And now it initiates the clutch for Yandy Diaz. I know he has 81 contacts against righties, but now he has 86 being in a runner in scoring position.
Yeah, you always take those small differences whenever they show up. Inside fastball is going to be a big called strike there. Very almost interesting take because I believe his first at bat, he laced the 4-seam inside on the hands down the left field line with Yandy here. But this time, just a little bit more of a patient approach.
Count is full.
Looking for his pitch. Works a 3-2 count. Now this is tough. Brandon Lau on deck. You're down 6. What do you throw? Tries to locate a 4-seam down and away. He just spits on it. And here comes Brandon Lau coming off a perfect moonshot to center field in the second inning.
Curious, this is where you see Clevenger. I know he's probably arguably one or two, if not the best relievers. No, he goes Mason Montgomery instead. So we're going to get Montgomery, who's hard throwing lefty, with 3 pitches to work with. 4-seam, 2-seam, and the slider.
Yep, 2 pitches I'm expecting here if I'm Wilsy. Inside, that was not one of them. That driven to left field is going to go foul. I was about to say, I'm looking inside fastball and then adjusting down in the way slider here, lefty. There's the inside fastball off the plate. Working a 2-1 count here. Oh, slider that catches too much play, and Brandon Lau again. Perfect right center field. This time 439 feet. And yeah, what a swing. Front door slider just catches the middle of the plate. And man, another big inning for Wilsy here. 3 runs on the board after another Brandon Lau tank.
I mean, that was just a
commanding 11-2 lead.
Great swing, and then Brandon Lau continues being the best hitter in this Rays lineup in the Sunburst Invitational, and already 2 perfect home runs. It's what are you gonna do?
Yeah, it's unreal, man. When Wilsy is at his best, he is like so tough to get out. And for a lot of people who are watching this who don't play Legend and they struggle with Legend, sometimes when he's at his best, he just makes it look so easy. And with some swings like that, some at bats like he's been working, just phenomenal patience to find his pitch and just punish the mistakes, because that is so tough to do so consistently. But, you know, we have a long series here. If you're Zazzi, you're kind of just going to try to look to put up some good swings, maybe fight yourself back into this game, but just look to find the offense, put up your own rallies, and try to capitalize on some, the same that Wilsy has so far.
Yeah, this is very similar to Qualifier 1 in a series between Alex Kikil and Frosty. Alex was able to get the Mercy game in game 1, and then Frosty was able to come game 2, but Alex was able to win the end-all be-all in game 3. But this is giving me the same vibes right here.
Yeah.
Just say it's just nothing you can do. Wilsey's just that locked in currently.
Yeah, I think sometimes it's like you don't want to throw away a game ever, but you might not be going into the rest of this game like, okay, I'm gonna really come back and win, but like down 9 here. You're just looking to take it one step at a time, find some good swings, maybe manufacture a few runs, whatever you gotta do to get going offensively, and at least find some momentum to carry into next game.
0-1.
I mean, Pepio's still on the mound through 2 pretty strong innings here. He's going to lace that right through the hole at shortstop. And here we go. Chandler Simpson on, setting up the top of the order. I'm very curious if you see a steal. I mean, I feel like you're basically guaranteed to.
I mean, we saw Wilsey do that in the top of the half and initiate the clutch for Yandy Diaz. And that was on the first pitch. May see it. Same here.
Here he goes. First pitch. Away cutter that's laced down the right field line. Will it be caught? It's not. But it's going to bounce over the wall anyway. You can see the base runner is getting very chaotic up there in the top right of your screen. But it's going to be a double anyway. Runner gets over to third. And here we go. Brandon Lau.
No, that missed.
This time for Zazzi. Up with 2 runners. And look at that clutch out of Brandon Lau there.
Ball.
Big at bat here for Zazzi to maybe try to fight back in this game.
Ball inside.
I mean, if we're talking about, remember, these live rosters only go up to 99 attributes, and that's 88. If you do that 1-to-1 ratio, that's in the high hundreds.
Yeah,
for Diamond
and I believe
Dynasty.
it's a very big step up from his contact, and you could see Wilsy knew not to pitch to Lau there. So he pitches around him, 4-pitch walk, and in comes Junior Caminero, bases loaded, nobody out. This is almost a make-or-break moment for Zazzi here. Chance to fight back here, but has to be careful. That's grounded to third, though, to throw to second. Gonna get 1, gonna get 2. Beautiful double play. And that's why I meant that being a crucial at-bat for Zazzi. Bases loaded, nobody out. Hard hit ground ball to third, but it's a double play that basically clears those bases here.
Yeah, that was a big opportunity to get right back in this game, and the 39 speed of Camaro just hurt him there and able to get that double play.
But still chance to cash in. Jansen's going to ground 1 to second, though. That's going to end our inning. I mean, even though that inning didn't go for Zazzi, he put up a good rally. Had some good swings, even on some outs. Looked like he was kind of reading the ball pretty solid there. Just, I mean, sometimes you play a game and you don't really know what to do. You kind of just shrug and you're like, yeah, what else can I do, man? And this feels like one of those for Zazzi right now. He needs to find a way to basically put up a 0 here in the 4th if you want to stay alive here in game number 1.
That's a ball.
Yeah, because we're getting into that territory.
1-0.
I mean, well, for Wilsey, that magic number is 2 right now.
Yeah. And we talk about this a bit. Is that's driven to center field. Another perfect for Wilsey. Slider that catches that middle third of the plate. We got a leadoff runner here in the 4th. It's sometimes when you get close to that mercy, it's almost like there's blood in the water. There's a chance to come out with a win. I mean, you almost want to take advantage of it whenever you're close, because all these players are at such a high caliber. They can come back even down 8.
Yep.
So you got to try to take those advantages whenever they come around. And being up 8 here in the 4th, you would love to get 2, maybe 3, and try to cement this. That's driven to center field by Aranda. That'll be our first out of the inning. Get another screamer of a swing out of Wilsey, this time to the center fielder.
Well, you couldn't say that any better. You see it in the rear view mirror. You're going to try to take it when it comes.
Absolutely. One thing I just noticed from looking at the cameras, Wilsy is so leaned into his monitor. I think you could see every pixel on the screen. I love it. That's grounded up the middle. It's going to sneak by, making it runners on first and second here with 1 out. Man, I love that. I could
Oh,
never play like that.
You take something from
that is insane.
what Alex said
No,
the
that's
last
low.
qualifier. He said he could sniff his pixels. That's how close he was. That's just another scenario where you see that as well.
Absolutely. So again, another big rally here. This time for potential stakes of a mercy here for Wilsy. 3-0 count. The Caballero here. A big first strike here. You as much as you're down 8, you want to pitch carefully. You probably want to pitch a Caballero here, but he's not. That's going to load the bases here for Jake Mangum coming up. And I don't. He's having a tough time finding the zone out there.
No, that missed. That's a ball.
Man, what a take on a down and slider. Ready to swing for it. Holds the swing back. Pitch is just a few pixels off, but we're still back to a 1-2 count. There's a fastball that caught way too much plate, but Mangum just swings under it. We might have a play at the plate here. The throw gets cut off. It's now 12-3 Wilsy here in the top of the 4th. So he does get one here, but that brings up Chandler Simpson. Already 2 for 2 this game.
And he's just getting the results from Simpson. I mean, the clutch right now, only 38. I think his contact's only around 40-ish. So you really got to piece up your PCI against these pitches.
Yeah,
if you want to get
you probably
good results
feel
from
like PCI size, you're playing on like GOAT difficulty with someone like him. Look at that swing. That's so gonna be an out, but another great swing from Simpson here for Wilsy. That's gonna end our inning though. 2 runners stranded though, and we're not in mercy territory. Only a 9-run deficit for Zazzi here.
That missed. That's a ball.
But that's what I mean. You kind of need that from Zazzi. You only gave up 1. That could have been much bigger inning too. We also had
you need
another
to minimize. He got out of big trouble there.
Yep.
Absolutely. And you never know with momentum in this game.
Just give me that one last chance.
Big innings,
look there. That's a good start.
Is driven to right field by Aranda, and that is going to be long gone. 411 feet. And there we go. Here comes Zazzi. Another solo homer. Makes it 12-4.
It could take that one swing to get you going at any time. So we'll see. And that's another good PCI swing, but that might get caught with the speed of Jake out there in right field.
Yeah, great cut. Sat back on it. I mean, you love to see those stretch of swings. Like we kind of talked about before. Sometimes it's just like a game of attrition. Just put up as many good swings as you can. Even if a lot of them turn out to be outs, just keep up putting in good swings and the result should eventually come. That one he just misses again, that away 4-seam. It's going to be our second out. So we talked about that first swing really being a potential for like that swing to get him going. But 2 outs here, and it's down to Caballero here to keep this inning alive.
Hee-haw! 0-1.
I think just in general for Zazzi, one thing that I think he has been struggling to adjust to this game has been the away stuff. Hasn't really found that timing on those away fastballs and cutters the most consistently. Oh, and he gets rung up on the check swing. Bearded umpires sent him right back to the dugout. Quick call over there to end our 4th. And still a 12-4 lead for Wilsy as he's looking to get a couple more runs. We got a nice camera of the ump here. We're headed into the top of the 5th here. And Wilsy looking to get into that mercy territory here.
And he has top of the order. Start out the inning with Yandy Diaz here. Already 2 for 2 in this game.
0-1.
Yeah, Yandy has been big in the top of the order. We talked about the bottom of the order kind of turning things over for the top of the order, but Yandy here has just been putting up good swing after good swing as he's on base again. And it feels like you just want to get those runners in scoring position for Brandon Lau. If you will see, he's already got 2 homers, 6 RBIs.
This is probably where we see Clevenger
here in game number 1. Yep. And in comes the lefty.
Yeah, but here's Clevenger, is better lefty up to 2 in the bullpen here. That's a good sweeper to start out the bat there.
Yeah, if he can locate that sweeper, he's going to be challenging Wilsy to sit back and hit that to left field. That's sometimes what you see in these lefty at bats. Just challenge the player to hit that down and away slider. Front door cutter, almost a great pitch to catch him looking for strike 3, but he just misses the spot. And there's that slider. Swing and a miss. Clevenger comes in and gets a big first out. Brandon Lau, who is unstoppable here in game number 1.
Yeah, that was a good pitch mix, like, as you mentioned.
No, that
and able to come
ball.
that, get him swinging unconventionally outside on all in the dirt there too.
One.
Ooh, that sweeper. That sweeper is filthy out of Clevenger. Mixing that in with the slider and the cutter, like, that's a tough mix. So I see what you're talking about, him being like the big lefty for sure. Oh, he's got the sinker too. But great takes from Wilsy at the plate here to make it a 3-1 count.
Yeah, I would say the best bullpen
Full count.
pitchers out of the Rays bullpen right now for Emily's show is this Clevenger and then Uceta. Edwin Uceta with his changeup, cutter, and fastball mix has been really effective.
Ball 4.
Great take. And man, you could just tell, like, Zazzi's either having a tough time finding the zone or he's just trying to get a little too fancy trying to get outs here. Another walk for Wilsy. 2 runners on for Danny Jansen, who already is a home run this game. Big situation here again. If Wilsy can get that runner from first home, he's in mercy territory here. Jansen looks like he's not going to. Just behind on a down and in sinker. Simpson will make the play to make that out number 2 of the inning.
Here's what we get. Pitch hitter here. Maybe Curtis Mead.
I was like, this does not seem like a fun at bat lefty. Not sure if he's going to make a move. It looks like he's going to put someone in here. Mead would make a lot of sense. And in he comes. Curtis Mead. Up with 2 runners on. And that's laced to right field. That will land. So bases are now loaded. 2 outs. Big situation here for Wilsy at the plate. And here comes Junior Caminero. I mean, one thing I guess we could talk about after, if we got a big at bat here. Pete Fairbanks in to try to keep Zazzi in this game versus Junior Caminero.
We know Fairbanks has that big fastball of his right now. He shows 2 back-to-back changeups to start out the bat.
That's grounded up the middle. It's going to score 1. Runner will be sent home, and he should be in there. 14-4 lead for Wilsy here in the 5th, looking to cement that mercy. Finds a hole, and that is crushed to right center field. Everyone is running. It's going to score 1. Looks like he's going to send that runner home from first. He's going to actually go back to third. Good call. Keeps him at 3. Runners on second and third. 15-4 lead. It's now a little cushion for the mercy rule at stake here for Wilsy.
Yeah, just great hitting. First pitch swinging. Perfect cab. Puts it in the gap. Scores 1 there. And he's still looking to add more.
Another good swing. Another great opposite field swing. That's going to score those 2 runners. Man, absolute clinic of opposite field hitting for Wilsy here this inning. Just stringing together hit after hit. 17-4. Look at that cut by Mangum. Here comes Chandler Simpson. Man, 17-4. 17 runs is a ridiculous number to have here in the 5th.
Especially with these rosters. I mean, with the 99 attributes, they're not fully maxed up. So it takes a lot to get these hits, and just everything's falling for him. Oh, what happened? Oh, it looked like it was going through for a second. I was like,
yeah, it looked like a weird desync thing there. That's going to be a ground out to end our inning. So that makes it 17-4. Zazzi needing 4 runs to stay alive in this game here in the 5th. And Pepio still on the mound. Looked pretty solid out there. Looking to finish this up.
Yeah, right now, if you're Zazzi, you're looking to get 4 runs. That's all.
It's going to be a ground ball, though, to second base. And we have our first out here. I mean, if you're looking to get it going with anyone, it's Yandy Diaz right here. But yeah, one thing that was interesting, which doesn't really get talked about enough, that I don't know if people know about. You saw Wilsy debating that pinch hitter last inning, if he was going to go to Curtis Mead or whatever. Curtis Mead has the better contact versus lefties. But that clutch rating actually weighs to be slightly bigger or smaller for those platoon type hitters. So for Mead, even though he had like 50-something contact, that PCI is probably slightly bigger with him getting, I mean, he's got a 53 clutch, my bad. And that PCI is probably slightly bigger for him anyway with the clutch in play there because he is a more lefty-focused hitter. As that's driven the deep left field by Yandy Diaz makes it 17-5. Yandy Diaz didn't need any clutch there. Nobody on base there. Perfect.
Don't matter.
17-5.
Now you just need to get those 3 more. But one big thing, well, we'll see what happens here with Wilsy. He does go with Clevenger. He's trying to close out this game. He's going with the best reliever that he can put in. He's trying to close out this game, so he's going to bring Clevenger. That's what I was just about to say. Yeah, Pepio in this whole time.
Yeah.
I mean, that's exactly what you wanted from your starter there.
Yep, absolutely. I mean, one thing that's with Zazzi, he's putting up great swings. I just don't think he's strung together the rallies in the same way that Wilsy has. Wilsy's made a lot of these runs through 3-run homers or gaps with gap doubles with the bases loaded. So I think Zazzi just hasn't really been able to string up together hits like that. That's going to be a strikeout for a big second out here in the bottom of the 5th, and up comes Caminero with the game on the line for Zazzi. That's driven up the middle. That's going to good cut on an inside cutter. Maybe a little bit of life here for Zazzi. Like we said, he needs to string together 3 runs to potentially avoid this mercy rule here in game number 1. And Danny Jansen, some of that, you know Zazzi, you know he has loved Danny Jansen over these last few years. Trying to keep this game alive, but he quickly falls behind 0-2 to Clevenger.
1 ball, 2 strikes.
The take on an inside cutter. Makes it a 1-2 count here. Ooh, inside 4-seam. He was ready for it. Maybe a little too ready for it. Definitely would have loved to keep that one fair to try to crawl back in here.
Ball.
Working a 2-2 count. Away fastball. Line to center field, and the catch is made. And a dominant game number 1 win for Wilsy to take a 1-0 lead in the series. And man, you just got to look at the scoreboard. Great offensive numbers out of Wilsy. He came through with the rallies, got the bases loaded numerous times, came up with the big hits when he needed them. And honestly, for Zazzi, that final out was probably the note of his game. A lot of great swings, many of which just didn't go his way because that's just how the game is sometimes. He's looking to flip things the other way here in game number 2, get rallies of his own, and maybe try to do the same thing to Wilsy here as the away team.
Yeah, we'll see what happens there with Zazzi. But for the first game, Wilsy just, I mean, that second inning was the biggest inning. Just able to score 8 runs there and not look back. And he was able to use Pepio. We mentioned a little bit before, he used Pepio throughout that whole time. Only got to use Clevenger in the bullpen. So he's sitting just what the doctor ordered for him. Able to get he was able to get hits, dropped them for Zazzi. He was making good swings, just wasn't getting the results.
Yeah, and that's how it goes sometimes, but you can't really get down on yourself. I mean, try to keep that momentum with good swings. Sometimes the momentum in this game isn't shown on the scoreboard. It showed in the swing outcomes. Just whoever's starting to string together solid contact after solid contact, and you want to try to carry that momentum into the next game. So if you're Zazzi, you're still in this series. You still have that home field advantage in the long run for this series. And in general, though, you're looking to keep those swings up here for game number 2 and maybe try to take that early lead and put some pressure on Wilsy here.
Yeah, this is what happened in the first qualifier one. We have Alex able to mercy in the first game, and then the next game was a very close game, and Frosty was able to win it. But let's take a look at the replays here. I mean, started it off good for Zazzi. Almost went back-to-back too. Junior Caminero, and then we had that perfect foul ball that unfortunately didn't get over or hit the foul pole there. Could have easily made it 2-0 there, but from the start, I mean, Zazzi looked good, and then come top of second, and you see Brandon Lau. Look at this.
Yeah.
One of
big
2
home run there.
One of 2 big home runs. Yep.
Poor 51 to center field. And one thing I always love about watching the camera reaction to these guys is that they never really get too excited. They just kind of stay calm. It's a game of just staying even keeled. Can't get too excited or too upset at stuff. And just every single thing, just straight face, locked in. So, like, even though this didn't go Zazzi's way, I mean, you got plenty of series left. I mean, you got a chance to fight all the way back here if you find that offense here in game 2, and I think the difference, like we said, is going to be if he can put together rallies like Wilsy did, 2 big 3-run homers out of Brandon Lau like we saw, and that was ultimately the difference. He got ahead, worked counts, got multiple runners on, even manufactured runners like this with doubles down the line. Just good, like, mix of baseball of just getting runners on and hitting runs and different things to get runners home. And yeah, that was the most excited that I've seen him this entire time. He was amped to take that big lead late game, and yeah, just dominant showing out of Wilsy here in game 1. But we got plenty of series left against 2 great players. I'm really curious to see how game 2 goes.
Yeah, it's good. It's the best out of 3, so we still got more games to come. But first, let's get to the winner of game 1. We'll have Wilsy joining us momentarily and get his thoughts on how everything went well for you in game 1. You asked if you could start or could go 4 innings or more. You're able to do that. And that big second inning, you were able to just score runs left and right. How did it feel once you got, I mean, you went down early, bottom of 1, 1-0, and then in the second, you were able to just manufacture 8 total runs and didn't look back.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I got kind of lucky in the beginning of the game. That second inning, that first inning, he probably could have gone up 5-0, and I could have been in a terrible spot. But then things didn't go his way, and then the second inning, I got a few lucky hits with the bottom of the lineup guys, and then but the top of my lineup came up and then just scored them all. So yeah, it was that start of the game really just helped the entire thing throughout.
Yeah, let me ask you this. I noticed this, especially starting in that second inning. Did you make any adjustments to the plate based on how Zazzi was approaching on the mound? Like, did you clue into anything in that middle part of the game that really got you going offensively? Or was it just you just got locked in and you just managed to find it haphazardly, and that's what gave you all that momentum?
I mean, the first inning, to be honest, I've never even took a practice swing versus he pitched Taj Bradley, right?
Taj Bradley, yep.
Yeah, I never even took like a practice swing versus him, so I didn't even know what he threw. So yeah, and I was also just a little nervous, but after the first inning, seeing a few things in the second, then everything just started clicking.
There you go. Now you're 1 game away of coaching a spot for the Sunburst Invitational Lay-In Finals. We wish you nothing but the best luck, and go from there. Keep the momentum going on your side.
Yep. Thank you.
No problem.
Yeah, great showing. Game number 1 for him. Like,
and man. Like I said, this is best of game 3, so we still have a series that have us. I don't expect Zazzi to go down quietly, and he's going to be now the way team from the start. Hopefully, you could get some runs right from the start, see how it goes, and take that momentum back. And like we saw in Qualifier 1, we saw a game 3. I could still see the same here tonight between these two.
Absolutely. Like we've been talking about it a lot. Like Zazzi put up great swings in that game. He's got plenty of chance to come back here.
Yep.
Curious to see how quickly it gets him going here in game number 2. But we're going to be taking a small break before we get started with game number 2 in just a few. And we'll be back here in a few to get us going with game number 2.
Woke up in Durham, got on our bus at 9 o'clock. We bus to Norfolk, go through the everyday routine, come in from BP to get ready for the game about an hour before first pitch. And Morgan Ensberg, my manager last year and this year for, I guess, half a day, just gathered the team around and started speaking about the year that we're about to have and we're about to embark on.
You're never, ever out of the fight. There's a guy that keeps on fighting nonstop, and that person is now going to the big leagues. Jake Mangum, you're going to the big leagues.
Uber to Durham, got in at like 11 o'clock at night, flew into Tampa and went to the hotel and came straight to the field.
Well, I was in John's office and the phone rang and it was actually Jake FaceTiming John.
I told my mom was standing next to my dad. My dad was walking or running on a treadmill. I told him to get off the treadmill. He asked me why.
And yesterday was our wedding anniversary, our 33rd wedding anniversary. And when I heard Jake's voice, when he called John, I heard him talking. I ran over to look at the phone and it was him.
I said, because you got to get your butt to Tampa. And that's whenever they kind of figured out I was going to the big leagues.
When he told us that he got the call, brought a lot of tears to my eyes, but I'm just so thankful that he got to reach his dream.
We just hopped in the car and drove 10 hours straight here, and got here early this morning, and then here we are.
It's a lot of different emotions kind of hit you at once. You know, the dream you've chased your entire life is coming true, and you know, you just think about all the people that helped you get here. I'm 29 years old, played baseball for about 25 years. A lot of people have helped me get to this point, and today I'm going to experience a Major League Baseball game on a team.
His goal was to get to this level. He did that, and we're excited to see him get out there and just play ball.
Mom, Dad, Mimi, Dada, Nana, thank y'all. I wouldn't be here without y'all, and I really appreciate everything y'all done for me. No matter what, like after today, I'll forever be able to say I'm a big league baseball player.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back. If you are just joining us, we are in our Sunburst Invitational finals here for qualifier number 2. We just witnessed a crazy game number 1 between Wilsy and Zazzi, which ended up with a mercy rule win for Wilsy to take a 1-0 lead here in this series. But we got a game number 2 in the best of 3 here. Anything can happen here, like we've talked about. Zazzi, someone who is a great player who can come back, and we're actually about to get started here in just a moment.
Yeah, we'll get here started momentarily. But once again, if you want to join the Sunburst Invitational, we still have 2 more qualifiers. One in May. That's going to be during, I believe, May 10th to the 12th. And then one in June. You can do !play to get a link in the Twitch chat to get the link. And you can sign up now. And, you know, we could be calling your games here come in May or June.
Absolutely. Those the in-person events are always the most fun things to watch every year. So it's been so fun, pure electricity. Even if you're someone who's not playing to play in the invitationals, make sure you are here to watch these tournaments because they are just so fun. You get some of the best competitive action with some of the best players in the game. And like we saw in game 1, some crazy baseball. And here we go. Game number 2. Both players choosing their pitchers. Looks like we got Wilsy contemplating, looks like he's going Rasmussen here.
Yep, we figured we are going to see Drew be on the mound, be the second. Now we got Pepio for Zazzi. Now the key for Zazzi is get off right from the start. Being the way team, you wanted to get those hits. He, like we mentioned before, he was having good PC up squared, just wasn't getting the results. Hopefully this time around, it's a new game. He'll get those results that he's looking for. So he wants to get that momentum right from the start. For Wilsy, it's more of the same. Just continue what you're doing and try to see if you could take what you did in game 1 successfully into game 2.
Absolutely. And we do have Rasmussen on the mound, and he does have that pitch mix, which is very Diamond Dynasty like with the sinker cutter meta pitch mix. So it's something that you see all the time in that part of the game here. So I'm curious to see how long it really takes for Zazzi to get going here. I'm not sure how much he's even practiced against Rasmussen here.
That's a ball.
98 on the fourth seed.
He's been one of the starters. It was between him and Pepio that we've seen mostly throughout the weekend qualifier. So
that makes sense.
I'm sure he had to face him. He has a sweeper. He has a fastball. Plus, the last qualifier, he was used pretty much every game, being part of the bullpen.
Beautiful sweeper there to make it a quick 1-2 count here. And just a reminder, Zazzi is now on the road here in game number 2, currently at the plate in the blue Rays unis. Looking to get going here as he's down 1-0 in this series.
Count's full.
He's working a 3-2 count here with Yandy Diaz. The pitch is a perfect line past the diving Brandon Lau. And that's a leadoff single with Yandy Diaz. And yes, it's only a single, but a great swing to get going here for Zazzi.
Yeah, good start. Get the perfect swing right there. Get that for a hit as well.
Brandon Lau laces that to center field, but just right to him for our first out inning. Another good swing for Zazzi, just finding gloves.
It's like your phrase that you just said in game 1. We show takes.
No, that's outside.
It gives and it takes away. It always happens that way. It's about time the game starts to give to him, that's for sure. But a 1-1 count here to Caminero. Caminero, I believe, had a homer for him last game, but that's going to be grounded to short. Throw to second, gets 1, and he's going to turn 2. Ground ball double play ends our first inning scoreless. What started is a great swing for Zazzi to get going. Ends with a line out and a double play. And that inning is very quickly over.
Yeah, that ended in a blink of an eye there. And right where you want for Wilsy, you want to start hitting just like you did in the previous game and see if you could just tack on right here. And after again, that's a big 0.
Absolutely. And it's sometimes tough with these great players to read their composure and see how much they're letting things get to them. And sometimes you just you see a slightly unordinary swing out of him like that. That may be a sign of that. I mean, you're down 1-0. It was a great game out of Wilsy. And he just hasn't been able to connect in the same way that we know he can. So you might have to battle some of those emotions here as we're getting into this game here. But quickly behind, 3-2. Well, I wouldn't say very quickly behind, but now 3-2 count here to Yandy Diaz. And that's a walk to start off the inning for Wilsy.
That's a good take right there. Yandy Diaz was big for Wilsy in game 1. 3 for 3 in his game in game 1 for him. And now the man of the hour right here. And that's a perfect. That's going to be out, though.
Wow. What a play at third by Caminero. Jumping up, and yeah, this is what we say. The game gives and it takes away. Beautiful swing from Lau. Just an even better play in the field. And there's a ground ball to second base. And another double play. Here in the bottom of the first ends our inning.
That was very similar to what happened in the top of the first. Good swing by Brandon Lau, but it was a hard out. And then the next pitch, double play to end the inning.
Yeah, a very quick first inning. We haven't seen many quick innings like that at all from that first game. So that's how we're getting started here in game number 2. That's laced up the middle by Danny Jansen. So this is a leadoff runner here for Zazzi. Can he cash him in this time? Take the first lead of the game. Try to make this comeback start.
Had a lot of plate there with that sinker. Just missing there. Good timing, just PCI wasn't there for Zazzi.
0-2 count very quickly to Aranda, though.
No, that's down. Ball.
Good take on a low sinker there. That right there is a perfect round ball pitch. A second one just low. Makes it a 2-2 count here.
Full count.
3 great takes out of Zazzi here. Makes this a full count.
Take your baseball.
There's that backdoor cutter. Another great take. Wilsy kind of trying to nibble around the zone there to get him to bite. And Zazzi leaves them all. So now 2 runners on here for Christopher Morel. He's going to ground that past the right side. Runner will not be sent home. So now we have bases loaded. Nobody out in the top of the second. And a big opportunity for Zazzi here to take a lead and maybe get a little bit of a cushion here to get going.
Getting that walk was big to get the players in double play depth, because if they were in double play depth, then there was only that was the easy ground out to second.
Absolutely, man. You see with Rasmussen that four seam catches up on you. He's behind on those four seams, kind of been all over those sinkers and cutters, which are a little bit slower. Wilsy just spamming those four seams to start off this at bat, just challenging him. Hey, hit this, and he's gonna fight them all off. There's a backdoor sweeper, great pitch, but an even better job to fight that off, to keep this bat alive, to make this a 1-2 count to Misner.
That missed. That's a ball.
Beautiful take on an away sinker there. Zazzi's working some great at bats here, taking some close pitches to stay alive, driving up that pitch count. Backdoor cutter is laced down left field line. It's gonna score 1. It's gonna score 2. It's bobbled to left. It's gonna score 3. Zazzi with a 3-0 lead. Had a beautiful swing to left field by Misner. And he talked about it. He's one of his go-to guys at bottom part of the order. He comes up huge for him to get going here in game number 2.
Couldn't ask for a better swing right there. That was a fantastic swing and cleared the bases as well. The difference that we're already seeing from game 1 to game 2 is the patience from Zazzi.
Yes.
Working these counts. I guess he saw that Pepio went 4 or 5 innings in game 1. Now, it needs to work the count a little bit more, and he's doing that here. A lot of 3-2s, 2-2s. Right there was a 3-2 pitch for Misner, and he took a handle with that that cutter away.
Yeah, and what I'm curious about next is that he's been behind on those four seams. He's kind of just swinging defensively at the four seams and has been all over the sinkers and the cutters. And I'm curious if Wilsy makes any adjustments on the mound, because those have been the pitches that have burned him here this inning. Those cutters. There's a low sinker. He's just trying to nibble or either get that in the zone or just below. He hasn't been able to find the spot. So another full count here. The Caballero, that one finds a spot and gets a swing and a miss. So a big strikeout for Wilsy and Rasmussen to get our first out of the inning here finally, but still a runner on second and the speedy Chandler Simpson up trying to keep this rally going. And there's the bunt. Gonna go foul though.
We see a lot of bunt base hits from Simpson over the weekend. That would have been a good one too.
Yeah. And I mean, before anyone questions it, because, you know, people see bunting and they're like, oh, stinky bunting. Chandler Simpson, that's the name of his game. Just slappy baseball, high speed. That was the perfect, but caught at second. Diving play. He cancels the throw. He's going to get the out at second. So a double play ends the inning. What a play by Brandon Lau there to end that inning.
Wow.
But yeah, that's Chandler Simpson, that contact type hitter. Isn't going to hit the ball super duper hard with great contact. And he just found the glove, and that ends the inning. And there's a clip, too.
That was a great diving stop there from Brandon Lau. Get the two there.
Inside. That's a ball.
You don't see diving plays in the air out of those middle infielders too often. You usually see them on the grounders, but the diving catches in the air was the difference there. Zazzi sent the runner on contact because he thought that was getting through.
No, ball.
And it's a big play to end the inning, and big for Wilsy to keep that only a 3-run rally.
Ball.
He's still in this game, and he's working a good count here to start off the second, 3-1.
Someone might be asking, like, for the bunting before, why the bunting? Remember, this is live rosters. This is Rays versus Rays.
Yeah.
With the Sunburst. It brings a different type of game than you typically see in Diamond Dynasty. And that's hit hard, and there's no doubt about that one. Danny Jansen leads off the bottom of the second with a 433 bomb here for Wilsey. Good response.
And I think this is how Wilsey has gotten his offense going. He has punished the mistakes. Hanging slider, catches that middle third of the plate, and he absolutely destroys it there to make it only a 3-1 deficit for him. Arana's going to fly out to make it the first out here in the second, but Danny Jansen has just been punishing those mistakes for Wilsey. Yeah, and we've been seeing it with both sides. There have been points where they've both been kind of nibbling around the strike zone, getting runners on. And in this case, I mean, Zazzi attacked him there, tried to go slider in the zone or sweeper in the zone, and it got absolutely destroyed. That's what Wilsey's done so well. I think what you got to do in games like this, at the very least, you got to capitalize on the mistakes that you get. And that's why he's been putting up such big runs. That's a good 4-seam in on the hands. Routine at short makes it 2 outs. And Caballero up trying to keep this inning alive for Wilsey.
So after giving up the leadoff home run for Dan Jansen, able to settle down a little bit and able to get 2 quick outs, now trying to get the third. I mean, if you can win the inning, that's all you need to do right here if you're Zazzi.
Yes, absolutely.
That missed. That's a ball.
Winning innings is sometimes where it's at, and you take it inning by inning. You can't really think about things too far ahead. That's a great swing. Caballero drives it through the right side. A little 2-out runner here in the bottom of the second. This is where things get interesting. Mangum and Simpson coming up at the bottom part of the order here, I believe. That's perfect up the middle. As 2 runners are now on, and Wilsey looking to rally here with 2 outs, tying runner on first and Mangum. And here comes Chandler Simpson. Oh, he's all over that fastball. Was sitting dead red on it. It pulls it foul. Man.
Nope, ball.
That's where he's like a little too on it. He just pulls it too much.
Absolutely. Ooh, great down and then change up. Are we getting bloopy here and chip it? We are. That's going to land. A bloop double for Chandler Simpson. Man, talk about literally hitting it where they are not. Third baseman went to cover the bag. It just found a hole right away. Man.
There's nothing you could do if you're Zazzi. It's just unfortunate. That just happens here and on the show, and just Find some grass, able to get the next run in. Now you're just in a situation now where you desperately need to get Yeti out. Yep.
But he's going to get some weak contact. Looks like the play should be made and right. So big for Zazzi to get out of there without it being worse. The baseball guys have chosen chaos here in his first couple innings. But still a 3-2 lead here for Zazzi. And, I mean, talk about needing to respond here. Definitely need to respond. Top of the order coming up here. You put up a great second inning. You want to keep it going here. Starting off with Yandy Diaz.
There's that four seam that you keep on mentioning about.
That's a ball.
Yeah. He has not been reading that four seam too well out of his hands. And you don't really see that too often with sinker cutter pitchers. That's going to be grounded up the middle. Lau gets a glove on it. Gets the out at first. Big out to start off the inning. There's no one on for Brandon Lau, who's been doing some damage for both sides here. But yeah, he just hasn't been on the four seam as much. That's a good swing on a sinker.
Head on the tag.
Just finds Yandy over there at first. Quickly, 2 outs here in the third.
Hee-haw.
Inside sinker. It's been interesting. A lot of patience on the inner half of the plate with these righty-righty at-bats out of Zazzi. I think he's looking for those away cutters over the plate, trying to slap something over the middle or the other way. Been very patient inside to start off these counts. You see very early on the sinker there. That's what he whiffed on previously. And looks like he's got an early swing on that one too. And that ends the inning. And this is why Rasmussen's getting the job done. He's been getting him a little bit behind in the four seam. It's been messing with his timing on those higher velo pitches. He's swinging early on those inside sinkers. He's got a couple strikeouts for Wilsy on the mound. But this is going to be a quick fly out from Brandon Lau to start off our inning here.
Yeah, it's a big out right there for Zazzi. You get the big hitter with Brandon Lau, one pitch swinging for out. You'll take that every day.
Yeah, you almost will like want to see someone jump on that first pitch of the inning. Sometimes it takes a moment of seeing pitches for them to get locked in. So when you see people jump on pitches like that and get out, like you take that all day, especially with how this game is shaping up to be. We might have a back and forth chaotic game here from the looks of it. You take those quick outs. There's another hanging slider, this time driven right to Misner and right. That's going to be our second out of the inning.
Yeah, 2 quick outs there. I mean, it's definitely a different feel from game 1 to game 2 already.
Really, complete different vibes. Like, there was really a momentum swing in that first game where a rally got going for Wilsy in the second, and he kind of just kept on running away with it. But here we got a complete different feel. Wilsy just not been hitting, seeing Pepio the same way. It's another scoreless inning for him at the plate. 3-2 lead still for Zazzi here as we're heading towards these middle innings. And Danny Jansen leading us off here.
See if Danny Jansen can get a... Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Scan.
No, you're good. That four seam has been another late swing on it.
It's been probably his primary pitch to start out righties that I've been seeing. It's just he's been using that to start get the strike over and then working at the other pitches, secondary pitches afterwards. Whether that's the cutter away, sinker inside, sweeper away. But that first pitch been mostly that four seam right there.
Yeah, he's just establishing the fastball there, trying to get his mind on it. He's been a bit behind on it. Quick pull to the pen here in the top of the fourth in a 3-2 count. That's going to be a first out here.
Got him.
Yeah, so like that. Wow, that's so interesting too. I felt like he was still not really on Rasmussen, but that stamina might have been getting low. You talked about it a bit before we talked that the stamina might not have been updated yet for Rasmussen. Is that driven to right field by Aranda? Should be 2. We might have a play at second. It is going to be a double. And there's a 1-out double for Zazzi here. Looking to get something going here as we're progressing to the bottom third of the order. Christopher Morel in a big situation here to try to get some insurance for him.
Yeah, try and get that runner over any way possible. Got some pop here with Morel with the 68 power against righties.
Yeah, I'm really gonna be looking back at Rasmussen. I'm curious on like how much energy he even had, what his confidence was looking like.
Yeah.
Because 3-2 pulling him there is very interesting.
Ball.
Ooh, great take on a low and in slider. Makes it a 3-2 count.
Ball four.
Great take on a down away slider. Great at bat from Christopher Morel. And here comes Misner again. It's runners on. That's driven high and deep to left field. And it'll be caught on the track. Man, I thought Misner got that one.
Looked good off the bat.
Yeah. I really thought he got all of it. Just didn't find a hole, didn't find a gap. But you like the swing. Got to stay composed here with Caballero up here. So want to try to get at least one on the board. Try to get a little bit of a cushion. That's driven high to right field. But it'll be caught. So a big jam for Wilsy to get out of to keep this a 3-2 deficit for him.
Yeah, it just felt like he needed to change up something. He took out Drew, bring in Eric Arze, and able to effectively get those 3 outs that you needed in that big jam.
Yeah. I mean, getting out of that inning makes you entirely remove any question of keeping him in the starter. If your bullpen's effective, absolutely worth going to. And he got through it there with no damage. On the other hand, you got Pepio still out on the mound for Zazzi. Curious to see how much he keeps him in with knowing that you got a quick pull the trigger from Wilsy. But as I say that, it's driven to right field by Aranda. And this game is tied.
You might just jinx that.
Aranda going yard. Right as you were saying it.
Right when you said it, but that's a good swing there. Took the fastball inside, square that up, get the home run over the wall there to tie up the game at 3. But this is where, if you're Zazzi, leave it to 3. Leave it to 3 because this is kind of when you see that leadoff home run from Wilsy, you know he's trying to look for more and more and more. And he's been so effective with the bottom of the lineup with this race lineup.
Yeah. And I was just about to say, as Aranda hit the homer, how long do you keep in someone knowing that they also went to the pen? And I feel like knowing that he went to the pen like he did, you totally want to consider pulling Pepio here maybe a little bit earlier. And I totally thought he would have tried to pull him after the homer. We're trying to keep him in a little bit longer here, try to extend him. But you hate to see that. Working a full count here, just working him at the plate here with Caminero. 3-2 pitch again. Perfect. Right to Caminero. Caminero to Caminero for a first out of the 4th.
Yeah, Caminero is just a perfect machine right now, catching those at third base. Got one from Brandon Lau before, now this one against his counterpart.
Outside ball.
Yeah, this bottom part of the order has been so huge. Just get on base, get a couple guys on for Yandy and Lau at the top. That's going to be fouled off. Should be out of play. But, yeah, I mean, if you're going to push Pepio in any part of the order, it would be now. Totally his last couple batters coming up here.
Oh,
great.
What a pitch.
Up and away cutter. Gets him looking. Catches him window shopping to make it 2 outs. And here comes Mangum. You know, we were talking about Pepio and how long to keep him in. He's locating pretty well here. Even after the home run.
Ball, that's high.
Looking to get through this 4th inning to kind of save some pen here for Zazzi as you get towards these middle innings. But there's a hanging curveball. Perfect to the right center gap. Mangum is going to get to second easily. So 2 outs, but a perfect. And Pepio still out there for Simpson. That's hit to third. Not hit hard enough. Caminero makes the play. Gets out of it. So the decision to keep Pepio in does work out for Zazzi, even though it probably got a little scary for him. But a 3-3 ball game here. At top of the 5th. And here we go, Chandler Simpson. Try to get that bunt down to get a rally going.
This is where he's so effective to be in the 9 spot, right? So try to get that on base 99 speed and then turn over your lineup. Well, if Yandy Diaz, Brandon Lau do up next, I mean, this is what you want to do. Any way to get on base with the Simpson card is what you're looking for. Whether that's a drag bunt that we saw with the 10th before or anything else. Walk, just try and get them all. And here's the low blue pit.
That might be 2. Doing Simpson things. He's running 2. He's going to get there. He's going to round second, but he should stay at 2. Man, I mean, you look at that, especially if you're like a a Diamond Dynasty player and you're like, oh my goodness, I can't believe that just happened. But that's Chandler Simpson, baby. That's what he does. Just slaps the ball around, lets the speed come into play, and that's a double to lead off the inning here for Zazzi.
Yeah, that's why he's so effective in that 9 spot. 99 speed. And it's funny because we had in Qualifier 1, we had Johnny DeLuca mostly in that spot. And DeLuca, even though he has the 97 speed, what was more a gap-to-gap hitter and had some power where Chandler Simpson has that contact and more contacts per se, where Johnny DeLuca had the more power side of being that.
Yeah, I heard that about DeLuca, that he had some more like surprising power. Ooh, check swing makes us a 2-2 count. Now this is gonna be a big inning. Got 99 speed on second, top of the order coming up. That's hit the center field. Is it gonna land? It's going to, but Simpson was tagging on second. So runners on first and second, nobody out, and this is almost feeling identical to the first game. Brandon Lau up, 2 runners on, looking to make a big impact here for Zazzi at the plate.
Ball.
Gonna take a first pitch ball. Quickly behind 2-0 to Brandon Lau. There's that fastball. 1 strike now. Zazzi has not been all over those 4 seams most of this game. But Fairbanks can't find the zone. 3-1 count. Caminero looming on deck. The pitch from Fairbanks. Beautiful take on a down and slider. And yeah, he did not give anything for Brandon Lau to hit. Bases are now loaded for Junior Caminero.
And this is where, if you're Zazzi, you're looking for multiple runs here. You're not just looking for one. You're looking for multiple.
Yep, and very almost predictable pitches out of Wilsy there. Looking for a rollover, going down the way sliders. Another down the way slider. There's a rollover, but bobbled at third. He's gonna get the tag and the play at first. He almost like stumbled into that too. With that ball being bobbled, he was just right in front of him for the tag. So a very not typical MLB The Show double play.
No, that missed. That's
leaves a runner here on second here, but a 4-3 lead for Zazzi now in the top of the 5th. And that's going to be driven to left, but should not have the legs. So bases loaded, nobody out, becomes a double play and a fly out. It keeps that at 1.
Yeah, at first it looked like it was just going to be every man on safe, and then with that bobble, but Caminero was able to pick up the ball quickly, tag the runner, go into third, and throw over the first to get the double play, which was huge. And the next pitch after that, he gets out of that big jam, and here we go.
Yeah,
the opportunity. That's a great hit there, Yandy.
Yup, gonna try to get it in quick, but that should be a double for Yandy. And here we go, that back and forth. We talk about momentum all the time in esports, and that was a big momentum swing. Bases loaded, nobody out, turning into just 1 run. Big momentum for Wilsy to keep him down 1. Now we got 2 runners on. Pepio still in the game. Gonna put up the 4 fingers for Brandon Lau, though. So now 2 runners on. Nobody out here.
Nope. Ball.
This time for Wilsy at the plate. And now a 1-1 count.
Ball.
It is all down the way. Again, looking for that rollover ground ball. Wilsy not biting. There's the away cutter this time. A little bit behind on it. Makes it a 2-2 count. The pitch from Pepio.
Ball.
Takes it full count with Danny Jansen on deck. Not a fun situation if you're Zazzi here. Runners are moving. That's laced foul. So 3-2 count again. And we might see another 3-2 pitching change like we saw Wilsy do earlier.
If he's running on that, on the 3-2, he feels confident making contact against Pepio. So he's going to go to a pitching change there.
Rodriguez in. 3-2. He's going to fight it off. Big pitch to fight off to stay alive this at bat. Trying to make something happen, hitting and running here with nobody out. 3-2 again. Fouled off by Christopher Morel. Crazy at bat from Morel at the plate here. Hard hit ground ball to short. Or to get the out at 2. They don't. So the hit and run pays off for Wilsy as he gets out of a double play on a very hard hit grounder. And honestly, could have gotten the out at 2. So now runners on second and third. 1 out for Danny Jansen.
Ball.
We saw Danny Jansen go yard his last bat.
No, that
Yeah, you know Zazzi wants to go to that down away slider, but he has to really be careful and not hang that because Danny Jansen has been punishing those. That's a dot of a slider. That's where you want that located right there. Right on the corner. There's the slider. High and deep to right field. And Danny Jansen makes it a 6-4 game for Wilsy. And we talked about that momentum swinging back and forth. It is swung all the way back in Wilsy's favor, cashing in with the runners in scoring position with a big home run.
To take the pitch they did before, right, which was Dado on the inside, and then another slider away to double down. I don't blame Zazzi. That was the pitch that you want to throw there in that situation, but you just got to give it to Wilsy to able to square that up, be a perfect, and get that 3-run bomb. I mean, just tip your cap there. That was a fantastic swing.
Another good swing from Aranda. Keeps this rally alive. Yeah, it's truly impressive to consistently take those down the way sliders and hit them to right center. Like that is like a go-to out pitch on Legend and Go difficulty. You have so many factors that come into play. You got hitters who are all over velo. The PCI will shrink on those well-located away sliders. So it's like a go-to pitch in those same-handed batters. And Wilsy's just been crushing, especially with Danny Jansen too. He's been killing those pitches. And now he's got a 6-4 lead, looking to finish this series.
3-1. Foul ball.
That's a hard hit grounder. Just gonna go foul. Another full count. But that's flown to deep left field. Should be caught. Makes it 2 outs here. And man, we talked about how Pepio got extended. And we see how long Zazzi was gonna do that. Man, talk about how quickly that ended. Not only did he get extended, Rodriguez came in, faced the minimum, I think, and now Fairbanks is in. There's a fastball away, driven up the middle by Caballero. And here we go again, the bottom part of the order for Wilsy rallying here. And here comes Mangum, 2 runners on, looking to get some more insurance as we get towards this last third of the game here.
We saw Mangum go. He had a gapper last one. He threw over the right field wall for an extra base hit. 2 for 2 with him in this game.
And that driven to the left field gap. Does Simpson have the speed to get there? He does not.
That went over.
That was going to bounce over the wall. So another double for Mangum. This time an RBI double makes it 7-4. And Chandler Simpson up with 2 runners in the 2 ducks on the pond. And this is where it gets scary, very scary if you're Zazzi. I mean, you're still in this game with a 3-run deficit, but you need to make sure you get this out here. Top of the order to looming. If we got a pinch hitter, Chandler Simpson is going to hit. Cameron Misner coming off the bench, and Wilsy wants that insurance real bad right now. And here comes Clevenger. Going to make him make a decision. So big reliever coming in here in the 5th. To get this out, try to keep Zazzi in this game. Hardly driven to short. What a swing on an away slider there. First pitch. But it's going to get out of the inning. So a 7-4 lead for Wilsy now, who is up 1-0 in this best of 3 series.
Curious if Wilsy did that just so he could get Clevenger early in the game as well. Get him because he knew that was a big situation. Make a decision. And that he's the better lefty of the 2. So going forward, I mean, you only have to worry about Mason Montgomery after that, which is basically fastball slider, which you can sit on. But as I say that, now Clevenger. He brings his slider. Clevenger, so who knows?
I mean, I feel like when you see Clevenger enter the game, it says a lot about where their mindset is at. In Zazzi's case, he's trying to stay in the game, so he goes to him just so he can stay alive and end a potentially really big inning. And it works. And then Wilsy says, you know what? I'm going to get mine out right here. Trying to keep you at 4 as we get toward this later part of the game. And it's a game of momentum like we've talked about. If you could pitch a scoreless inning here, that's a quick out to start off the 6th. Keeps all that momentum on your side.
That's a ball.
Yeah.
And so one thing that's so interesting about esports in comparison to like real baseball sometimes is like, since there's one user controlling the controller and all the players, sometimes it's just momentum. And you just want to get back to hitting as soon as possible because You're feeling all the timing. You're all over the ball. See, Zazzy's had some controller issues, unfortunately, heading into this series today. So he's been fighting some of that. So hopefully he can get that fixed here soon. But yeah, I mean, we talked about it in game one, how showing up with the opportunities has been the difference for Wilsy. I feel like that's totally the case here in game number 2. Wilsy has got out of some big jams. Zazzy had the bases loaded with nobody out, only scored 1. And that's such like a big deal to minimize there, because he's been coming up to the plate, getting into those rallies and capitalizing basically every time.
I couldn't say that any better.
3. Yeah, that's going to be strike 3. 2 outs here in the not the second, the 6th inning.
I don't know what's happening here.
Yeah, I don't know what Zazzy's pausing for. No idea what's going on over there, but I assume we'll get going here in a moment. There we go. So here we go. Cameron Misner up. Lefty at bat here with 2 outs here in the top of the 6th.
It's 0-1.
I mean, baseball doesn't have a clock. In the series, definitely doesn't have a clock. But it's definitely getting close. As this is a quick inning here in the 6th, and Zazzy only has so much time to try to fight back and get things going in the series. We're in the bottom of the 6th. You've burned through some of your great relievers. It starts to get scary here as you're down 1-0 trying to get things going. That's hard hit by Yandy Diaz. But play will be made to be a first out here in the 6th.
Yeah, Wilsy, you're just looking to keep on tacking on. You have the lead now. You just want more assurance as you go. For Zazzy, you're looking for the big 0.
Absolutely. Oh, man, one thing watching Wilsy these 2 games, it felt like he's been all over everything. Even the swings, his timing's off.
Nope, ball.
He's just absolutely crushing the ball. It's kind of ridiculous. So like I don't know how I would be pitching him in this scenario. So no wonder Zazzy's been burning through that pen.
Full count.
Look at that great take on a down the way force. He makes it a full count here. Big pitch from Clevenger here to Brandon Lau. Gets some weak contact. It's hit high down left field line, but it's going to land foul. So Lau stays alive. See another pitch. That's driven to center. And that'll be caught. So a big out. Brandon Lau has been doing damage so far. But that's going to be a big out there to bring up Christopher Morel.
Hee-haw! 0-1.
That'll be a swing and miss.
That was another good swing, too, from Wilsy. Just squared it up, just went right to center field there.
Yeah. His PCI has just been all over the ball. It's been ridiculous. There have not been many swings he has been off on. But a 1-2 count here. Chance for Zazzy to end this inning. Put a 0 on the board and try to fight back in this game. So big at bat here. Wilsy just keeps fighting it off. Down and in slider. Pitch is not really on, but does a good job of just fighting it off. That's hit up the middle off of Clevenger's foot. Does he have time to make the play? He does. So we have our first shutout inning in a little while here. Still 7-4, Wilsy on top as you get to the top of the 7th here. Ooh, that's driven high to left center field, but not far enough. Man, that is a pitch that you look coming to zone. Fastball over that middle third of the plate, and your eyes go wide open on that, but he was just underneath that. Now we got the bottom part of the order coming up. Mangum's going to come up for Simpson. Try to go for the hand in this matchup here to set up the top of the order. Man, I know it's lefty-lefty, but with how Zazzy's playing, I almost like getting the speed in play. Just trying to force something to happen. Another swing, Zazzy just misses. That's going to be a fly out to center field. 2 swings. That Zazzy has got the timing and has pretty much gotten the PCI, but has been just off of the start off this inning. And now we got top of the order coming up.
Here, see, tries
now
to
a decision will be made.
Keep Clevenger in, because if you get Brandon Lau one more time, that's maybe the last time you see Brandon Lau come up with a 7-4 lead. but he doesn't go that way.
He's going to put in Uceta.
Uceta, first time we're seeing him tonight.
He wants this out here. Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting question. Do you keep in Clevenger? Yeah, you don't have the great matchup with Yandy. But, you know, if Yandy gets on, you know, he's not the runner that makes the biggest difference there. Getting Lau out would probably be the big out. But he goes to Uceta, and Uceta does get the out. You didn't have a fun at bat next inning facing Lau, very likely, but gets out of this inning, gets the out he needed to.
Uceta might try to go the remainder of the game for Wilsy here.
Yeah, absolutely makes sense. And now we got Clevenger on the mound for Zazzi, facing the fourth spot here, and Danny Jansen. And we talk about Danny Jansen a lot, but he's been crushing it for Wilsy. I believe he's got 2 or 3 homers with him in just these first couple games.
Ball.
Looking to keep it going 2 for 3 on the day. I mean, it's a 7-4 game. Wilsy's looked good at the plate, but you'd love to get some insurance just in case. Beautiful play by Brandon Lau for a first out in the inning, as Jansen grounds out to second. And now you definitely want to keep in Clevenger here. Gonna put in a pinch hitter for bring out Curtis Mead. And with 3 straight righties coming up, all of which you do well versus lefties, in comes Uceta. And another pinch hitter, gonna be Ben Rortvedt.
Oh,
beautiful backdoor cutter to start off the AB. Man, what a pitch.
Strike 2.
All right. 2 very well located pitches out of Uceta here to start off this at bat versus Rortvedt.
That's a ball.
Almost 3. Great pitch and almost an even better take out of Wilsy there to keep this at bat alive. The 1-2 pitch. Inside cutter. Crushed to right field. And it'll land. He's not rounding first, but also the fielder isn't picking up the ball. It's just going to be a single. Might
just
be the longest single you've ever seen, but, you know, it's a single.
No, that missed. That's a ball.
But to stay in that bat, too, I mean, Zazzi was just dotting left and right with the Uceta.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that's interesting is sometimes when you're good players, you really want to feel confident and jump on pitchers early. But he did a good job of that bat with Rortvedt, just seeing some pitches, seeing the release a bit, trying to get the timing down. That's a great changeup down in the way that freezes Caminero. So 2 outs here in the inning. Instead of trying to wrap this up here. Ooh, but that's going to be a changeup. Hit the center field. It's going to get caught. Good swing from Caballero there, but that's going to be an out to end our 7th. So Uceta for Zazzi gets through that inning pretty solid despite a Ben Rortvedt really long single. But now here comes the interesting at bats. Heart of the order coming up. Brandon Lau up versus a righty. Looking to try to get Zazzi back into this game as he's only got 6 outs left.
It's late in this game. This is where you need something to get going your way. And that might... Oh, I thought it was going to get up.
Oh, it's going to.
It's going to. Hey, any way it comes, you'll take it.
Yeah, I was just about to say that shift was on. Played him right up the middle. But he botches it. So now Brandon Lau is the leadoff runner. And, you know, maybe that is the play that he needs to get going in this inning. A little dinky ground ball. Gets a runner on. Maybe gets that pitcher's confidence down a little bit. And here comes Junior Caminero, who has had some pretty noteworthy swings for both sides, I believe, so far. There's a sweeper away that, he just misses for a first out of the inning. So Uceta does get Caminero out. And I think a key part of it, too, is he hasn't really gone through too many pitches so far. He went in late last inning to finish up the inning. Got the outs quick. And here to start off the 8th, he's only got 8 pitches here as we're getting to the 4th spot in the order.
Yeah, that's why I definitely... We've seen Uceta go up to 30 to 35 pitches in the Sunburst Invitational, so you could definitely see him go all 3 innings. That's going to be what you needed there. 6-4-3 double play. And Wilsy is 3 outs away of clutching his spot in the live land finale in the Sunburst Invitational.
Yeah, and I think that's been the killer for Zazzi. When he's fallen behind, he's had those like very, not unordinary, but like not Zazzi like swings on those away cutters, rolling over those balls. Those have been killing some rallies for him in his series of 2 games so far. It kills him again there. Could have been a big inning to come back, but he needs a 0 here, keeps it a 3-run deficit, and he's going to need that bottom third of the order to really show up in that top of the 9th to fight back into this series. There's that 4-seam away from Uceta. That's been a go-to pitch for him, those away 4-seams and cutters. Trying to make Wilsy sit back on the ball, hit the opposite way. Uceta's just kind of dotting around the plate here.
Ball.
Great take on an inside 4-seam from Misner here.
Ball.
Away changeup. Another great take. Yeah, Wilsy is, in a few of these at-bats, fallen behind 0-2, but has fought back 3-2 against Uceta here. So he's doing almost like the opposite of Zazzi, working the count, seeing some pitches. There is a sweeper that caught a lot of play. He's all over it. And Misner is on base in the 9th spot, looking to set up that top of the order. So scary inning. Right now, if you're Zazzi, you're trying to fight back, trying to get a rally going. Every run Wilsy scores makes it even harder to do so. And now you got top of the order coming up with some pretty good speed on first. You got to be careful here. But that's going to be a fly ball to center field. And Uceta does a job of getting Yandy out. So now 2 outs. And up comes Brandon Lau, who is 0 for this game for Wilsy, but had a monster game 1 and also has taken multiple intentional walks here in this game, I believe.
That's how good he is.
Yeah. Sometimes you got to put up the 4, and now you go righty-righty versus Christopher Morel. Uceta definitely has a pitch mix that does better in those righty-righty scenarios. With the sweepers away, the cutters away, trying to get those early rollover swings.
Nope, ball.
Ooh, wow. Pitch that is pixels. Literally pixels from being a strike. Oh, and a screamer of a foul ball from Christopher Morel makes it a 2-2 count. There's that changeup. That's been the one pitch that's been kind of getting them with Uceta, those inside changeups to righties. Now a 2-2 pitch. 4-seam dotted at the corner. And Zazzi gets out of trouble, keeps us a 7-4 deficit. And here comes that bottom part of the order, and up comes Curtis Mead, my bad, starting off the inning here. And we might see a pinch hitter here to start.
Yeah, most likely a pitch hitter here. I think he still has Simpson. Since you started Misner in center.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I think he did do that. And I think Zazzi pinch hit for Simpson in that 1 inning. We'll see. We'll see here. If he has Simpson or Wertvet, maybe he pulls one of them out here. Yup, it's Wertvet coming up. We saw he hit a perfect, very long single just the other inning for Wilsy. Looking to start off this inning for Zazzi as he's down 3, potentially 3 outs away from Wilsy winning this qualifier finals and cementing his trip to Tampa. That's to be a fastball that gets by him. 0-2 count to Wertvet.
No ball.
He's going to take that away. 4-seam makes it a 1-2 count. Uceta's been pitching pretty efficiently. Only 13 pitches at this point.
That's a ball.
A great take on an away changeup.
2-2.
Everything away so far.
Zazzi trying to working it back here. Ooh, away 4-seam. He just bites outside of the zone. So a 2-2 count once again.
Ball.
Great take. As Wertvet's working a full count here versus Uceta. Big pitch coming from Wilsy. And Zazzi just misses it. Had the timing, not the PCI. As another 3-2 pitch. Backdoor cutter. Swing and a miss. Big strikeout to start off this inning for Wilsy.
That was just good pitch sequence there from Wilsy. Oh, that's going to be a base hit through the hole. And that's a 1-out single from Chris Morel. But to go back to the other bat, Hughes started everything away, then comes inside with 2 of the pitches and ends on an outside cutter that just paints the black.
That's going to be driven to center field. First pitch swinging. That'll be a fly out by Misner. So 2 outs. Wilsy 1 out away from winning the series. And here comes Caballero. Low key, I feel like Zazzi's looked better in righty at bats here versus Uceta.
That missed. That's a ball.
Been catching those inside fastballs better with them, hitting the ball the opposite way. There's that cutter. Sits back a little too much, makes it a 1-1 count. Caballero trying to keep this game alive and the series alive for Zazzi. Sweeper, diving play by Lau, and that's going to end it. Wilsy comes out on top after a really good swing out of Zazzi, but another outstanding defensive play from Brandon Lau over at second. Ends this game. What a game from both these players, but an impressive showing from Wilsy to come back, come out on top. Brandon Lau, as you've seen, it was made multiple big defensive plays there. That one being the final out of the game. That's our series.
That is our series. Wilsy moves on, clinches a spot to the live land finale come in July. He will be joining Alex Kakil, and we'll still have 2 more after this, but fantastic series from Wilsy. Definitely a different game from game 1 to game 2. Much closer game. Yeah. It's just, as he started off hot, got 3 runs to start with, and then the Jonathan Miranda late, I think that was in the 4th, ties it up at 3, and then Wilsy just took over from there.
Absolutely. Wilsy had to kind of do the comeback in the second game and really just name the game for Wilsy. You talked about it before, his offense. When he's needed to, he has come through with those runners on base. He was kind of slow offensively to start off first, Pepio for Zazzi, but he just eventually found it. He got a rally. He came through in that rally. And even though early in the game, Zazzi had that lead, he had a couple situations. He had the bases loaded, nobody out situation that ended with a double play with only 1 run scored. It looked like Zazzi had found it, getting going here to start off this game with a bases clearing double from Misner. It really got going with that big rally in the top of the second. But as we progressed towards the middle innings, Wilsy just stayed alive, minimized damage, and was able to put up the big innings of his own.
All hands down. I mean, it's just he was able to come through when needed. He got the big thing from him, from Wilsy in that game, able to get out those jams. I think we had bases loaded at least once or twice, and he got crucial double plays off of that and only limit the damage to 1 run, whereas Zazzi could have easily put up multiple.
Yeah, you almost felt like from watching, like Zazzi played well, but he wasn't 100% his normal self, a little uncomfortable, a little frustrated at points. And I think the difference offensively between the two, because they both put up good swings, it felt like Wilsy crushed more of the mistakes that were thrown. And that might have been just the key difference to really get him going offensively. We saw on one of those last at-bats at 9th inning, there was a middle plate four-seam that Zazzi missed that kept the at-bat alive that he eventually grounded out on. That could have been a big swing for him, but he was just a little bit off his game today, and Wilsy took full advantage, got some rallies, capitalized with the runners on, and really made him pay. Danny Jansen had a day today on those sliders and sweepers that caught the plate. He was hitting the ball out of here at Ship It. That was a big home run from him to give Wilsy that lead, and from that point, there was no looking back.
Yeah, Danny Jansen definitely was probably the MVP of that game. Had 2 home runs in that game. Had 1 solo shot, but that big home run was that against Uceta, I believe, or Manuel Rodriguez. I forgot the slider away.
I think it was versus Rodriguez.
Against Rodriguez, and it was just that from there. That's when Wilsy kind of took over.
Yeah, we saw earlier in the game, Wilsy took out Rasmussen mid at bat and went to the pen, and it ended up really helping him out. He got out of that inning and minimize damage. And on the other hand, Zazzi does a couple innings later, trying to extend Pepio, and instead Manuel Rodriguez comes in, gives up the big homer to Danny Jansen, and ended up being the big difference maker in this game. And then the other difference maker, surprisingly enough, Brandon Lau's defense. He made 2 big plays, the diving play to end the game, the diving play off the bat of Chandler Simpson to be a double play to end that 1 rally. That defense was big out of him over there at second.
Yeah, it was. It was very big. I mean, we didn't really see it from the bat in game 2. We saw that in game 1, but in game 2, it was more the defensive side, and it was it definitely kind of kept the momentum in check for Zazzi, especially that one with Simpson, which we thought that was easily getting through. It was a perfect hit. You made the dive and stop and get the double play there.
Yeah, and that's why those innings are so big. If you fall behind, you're still in the game. You just got to keep people in check and keep yourself in the game, and that's what Wilsy did there perfectly. And we're actually going to be able to talk to him about this. We have him on standby for an interview. Our series winner, Wilsy, how are you feeling after that showing today?
I'm feeling great. It was a great series, to be honest. Zazzi is a great player, obviously, and yeah, went how I wanted it to.
Now, how does it feel? Now you'll be going to a live LAN finale come in July. Definitely different atmosphere than playing online, like at your regular office or room. Now you're going to be going to the live event come in July. How does it feel?
It feels great. You know, I gotta prove I can do it at the LAN too. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'm hoping for your sake at the LAN they have a setup that allows you to just lean up to the monitor like you do. I love watching it because, like, man, it shows how locked in you get. You go right up to the monitor. It's great. So, I mean, in terms of the offense there, and especially that last game, what do you think you were doing right in those middle innings to really get going and lead the comeback for Zazzi there?
To be honest, I was like hitting decently second game. I was just taking a lot of pitches to be like, he would just throw me a 4-seam up and in first pitch every single time. And for some reason I was just taking it. I don't know what was going through my mind, but I had some good at bats at the end. That Danny Jansen swing was the best AB of the game by a landslide. And that like kind of sealed a little bit. And, he left a lot of runners on, which I capitalized too. Like he had bases loaded, no outs, and I think he scored 1 run.
Yep. He did. Yep. I think it was around the 4th inning.
Yep, yeah. You ever get that double play with Camaro. Your defense actually was a big part of your game. We were mentioning just before you got on, Brandon Lau made a diamond stop against Simpson, get the double play off the perfect, and then that last play to end the game, he made a diamond stop there too.
Yeah, I mean, that perfect lineup was just, I mean, kind of lucky. Like his runner auto advanced, which, I mean, that sucks for him, but that's just, you know, how it went.
Yeah, it's how it goes. Congratulations on the showing again. You're going to Tampa. It was very fun to watch you today. And you go out and enjoy your day. You celebrate. Yep. You had a great showing. Congratulations again.
Yep, thank you guys.
Of course, congrats.
Yeah, man, that was a very solid showing. I mean, we got to tip the cap to Zazzi too, because Zazzi did play well. I know you might look at the scores, or you might look at the series being a 2-0 series, but Zazzi is an incredible player who's been there, done that with this tournament before. Was absolutely crushing it, but the difference sometimes against someone like Wilsy when he's on his game is just maybe a couple rallies don't go your way, a couple of situations where he maybe isn't 100% locked in, whatever it is. So I fully expect Zazzi to be back in a situation like this here in one of these later qualifiers. You know he's going to fight to the end to try to get down to Tampa again. So it's going to be fun to see him fight all the way. And I bet we had so many great players that even took part in this qualifier that these two had to go through. So qualifier 3 is definitely going to be really exciting to watch.
Yeah, and the pressure is just going to keep on being increased to get the last 2 spots. Remember, if you are looking to join the Sunburst Invitational, exclamation point play in the Twitch chat. We'll give you a link and you can sign up now. But we'll see Zazzi, I'm sure, back for the next 2 qualifiers, and we'll see all the great players that played over the weekend. We can't do this without you. Thank you guys for playing. For all that are watching, appreciate watching. And we got to give a huge thanks to my man next to me in the booth. Joined pretty much, 15 minutes before we went live, and he absolutely carried this, as I'm feeling under the weather as well. Carried tonight in the booth. Scan, thank you so much for being here.
Hey, absolutely. You sent me a text and said, like, hey, we're starting in like 20 minutes. You want to get going? I'm like, yes, let's go. Sprinting got everything going. And it was a blast. We watched some great baseball. It's always a fun time being in the booth with you, my friend. Always fun talking to the chat and everyone as well. This is a fun collaboration. Thank you to the Rays. Thank you for asking me to join. Thank you to everyone for making this a fun stream today. And we'll be seeing you again for Qualifier 3 here some point soon.
Have a good one, y'all.